There's a job in this city where the director must know how to manage personnel and operational activities, know acronyms such as FCC and FAA, rules and regulations, review and revise safety and security plans, constantly be mindful of the need to upgrade infrastructure, manage fueling, heating, and cleaning, handle customer complaints, work with vendor contracts and leases, including farm leases as well. Who oversees such an all-encompassing project? I am pleased to introduce Keith Kaspari, Director of Aviation at our own Waterloo Municipal Airport. So welcome, Keith, and how are you?
I'm fine. Good afternoon, Mayor Hart. Thanks for being with you and your viewers.
All right, thank you. So, Keith, aviation, I know when I was a kid, I wanted to be an airplane pilot, but tell me about how you got involved in this.
Well, shortly after high school, I joined the Navy and I was on board the USS Denver. It's an amphibious transport dock ship and home ported in San Diego. And they had flight activities with 2 helicopter landing spots, and so I think that kind of jump-started my interest in a potential career path in aviation.
So you went to the Navy to get into aviation.
I did.
Okay. All right, and you're from the Minnesota native as well?
I am from a little town in northwestern Minnesota called Thief River Falls.
Okay, so this is a broadcast we'll see in Waterloo. So you want to tell them, are you an Iowa fan or a bit?
Go Panthers!
All right, I won't put you on the spot, but when we take a look at the airport, and I just had a meeting with some business folks, and they complimented the progress that we're making. So can you tell us a little bit about our airport and where we're at?
Well, certainly from when, over 5 years, when American Airlines started service in April of 2012, Waterloo's boardings and passengers have grown by 40%. Or if you do the math, it's about a solid 8% year-by-year average increase. So that's very, very good. We think Waterloo Regional Airport is poised for continued good things, but we would like to have or see more passengers utilize the airport so that we can justify increases in service over the coming years.
Right, and we visited some airlines before, so what does it take to attract another carrier here as well, or additional flights also?
Well, certainly with about a 76% load factor, that's good, but it's certainly not good enough in today's airline environment to justify a third departure. Honestly, Mayor, what I'd like to see is approximately 45 passengers each flight, each day, each way for the outbound and return. That would, and then sustain that level of service. That would then allow us to justify to airline officials that Waterloo is a real good market to expand frequency.
Right. So when you say 76% passenger load, you're talking about per flight, how much that needs to be filled up. So if I think we currently work with American Airlines, so if we have, just say if we have a 100-seat plane, they want to see more than 76, or we want to see more than 76, but the more that's filled up, the more that tells that airline that we're ready and poised and we can handle another flight. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's spot on. We think that if we can continue to attract more users to our facility, such as what we've seen in a recent parking survey, we've got users throughout 34 of Iowa's counties and about 18 U.S. states. And so that's a good sign that we're seeing users from all over eastern and the east half of Iowa.
And what's interesting too, and when I have conversations with people about this, in some instances there's a little bit of a surprise. And that is when you take a look at our rates, people used to say, oh, you're so much higher than all these other places. I'm not, but can you tell us a little bit about the changes since you've been here that we've made with regards to the rates that we have to pay for flights?
Well, certainly if I hear about fares that are way out of balance in contrast with other regional airports in Iowa, I have the ability to contact American officials and see if they can kind of right-size our fare to make it much more cost competitive. To give you one example, just because we've only got a couple flights a day, I just today got notified that a friend of ours is traveling from Washington, D.C., from Waterloo, and the fare was $800. It was a short notice reservation, but other competing airports showed that the same fare was $1,100. So
wow.
We're thinking that, again, we're on the right track to continue to grow our passenger base using the airport.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I've had friends that we've had this same conversation. They took a look to compare flights, and they're flying out of Waterloo now, which is what we need to do. We need to support our local regional airport if we want increased flights going out at different times as well. But you've been doing an outstanding job making sure that people know about the regional airport, that they know about, if you're looking for a spring break trip, this is a place to take a look at. I know you've been doing some aggressive marketing with some of our radio stations, television stations, magazines. You've been everywhere.
Well, thank you. We've been able to really grow our marketing outreach, and so we've got great partners with regard to KWWL News, the Courier, major radio stations in this community, Koloff Media, NRG Media, KOEL, AM Radio. We've got KBOL, and then of course we're also on the campus of the University of Northern Iowa and the Alumni Association. So we're starting slowly some right steps, and we want to continue to grow that.
And you've been reaching out to service clubs, school, every place that you can possibly take information about the airport to. You're doing that and doing an excellent job. But in the beginning, when we talked a little bit about all of the responsibilities you have, one of them is overseeing projects that take place at the airport, from runways to I don't know, vending machines, everything in the interim. Can you tell us about some of the projects happening now?
We're very fortunate in that we're going to undertake a very aggressive project this coming summer to rehabilitate our taxiway Charlie, our primary runway, and repaint the entire airfield. That total cost is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $2.7 million. Wow. So I think that's good for the community because we anticipate a lot of subcontractors that are going to be part of that job located right here in the Waterloo Cedar Falls area. And so we're excited that they're going to be able to partner with us to get this project completed.
And just a couple of quick things. We've had some changes to the way we provide security. Can you tell us about the check now that we have? I think it's, you got to do this.
Exactly. That's
not raise the roof.
That's a good point. We've got some of the best screening technology that is available at airports today throughout the U.S. In February, the Transportation Security Administration and the Des Moines office of TSA installed at Waterloo what's called an Advanced Imaging Technology, or AIT2 system. And this is a very sensitive piece of equipment, and will be able to scan everything that is on your person so that you are not a threat to board that aircraft. And I think that just continues to go to show that Waterloo is getting increases in levels of technology for the betterment of our passengers as they board the aircraft.
Right, and that's overall just been great. And I think we're one of few smaller communities in the state to have that security system.
That is correct. Not every airport in the state has that level of equipment technology.
Okay, good. Well, where'd the time go? Well, we'll have to have you come back. But what I will do is say that people need to understand that if Waterloo has a great facility right here for us to be able to utilize, tap into. Excellent customer service. I think one of the people that work directly at the airport had received an award for hospitality and service and commitment, and that's reflected from where you're at to everyone that works there. So people need to understand, you don't have to drive, 2 hours and spend, exorbitant amount of money in parking. You can fly out of Waterloo. So I'll say it for you. But thank you, Keith. We had to move quickly, but thank you, Keith, so much for spending this time with us. And as you like to remind people, please fly local, and every seat is
first class.
All right, and it does make a difference.